come from a very musical family. My sister plays violin, my mom played guitar, and she sings, and she plays piano, and I was kind of forced to play piano when I was a kid. And then I got my first guitar when I was 8, and since then, like, I was just writing like little songs. Like, I think my first song was about a blue whale. But I've pretty much been doing music my whole life. Like, I've always been singing. Singing was always a thing for me, and I was into Broadway a lot as a kid. I don't know if this is cliche or not. It might have been Let Go by Avril Lavigne. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the first record I bought. And I must have known you. I must have seen. Success is just so hard to define for music and musicians right now, I feel like. For me specifically, success just has to do with, releasing as much music as you can and having people listen to it and getting shows and just being able to do what you love. Because honestly, like, if this was any earlier, it would be so much harder to even release music. I encourage artists to just record on GarageBand and mix their own music and release it on SoundCloud or whatever, Bandcamp even, because if you can't afford to go to a studio, we have the tools here in our own houses, so it should encourage people to want to release their own music in that way, especially in a time when you need to keep releasing music and have music to even land gigs, to do whatever. You could figure out many ways to make your music sound more legit than just like a recording you made in your basement. A lot of the times, like, I record so many ideas on my phone, on my voice memos, and I know I've heard of a lot of bands, DIY bands, who actually do record their own music and release their own music from recordings from their phone. And you have GarageBand on your phone too. You have like all these tools, and I think that you should utilize them. It definitely pushes me in a positive way to want to work on projects and write new music and release it. And it definitely helps with working on your own creativity and yourself as a songwriter. Just pretending. At least I saw you yesterday. That's the other thing. I've been reading a lot, and this is something I've been working on. I feel like image is so important, and I hate saying that. I've just noticed that even like with myself, I've gotten into a lot of musicians from what their Instagram profile is. And I know that sounds so ridiculous and awful. A lot of bands I've also just heard about and I wanted to play, but like really small musicians and bands that not a lot of other people know, I've found out through looking at their Instagrams and social media and stuff, and the way that other bands would talk about them that not a lot of people know. If you're really serious, I feel like you have to work on your aesthetic and all that stuff, and I hate saying that, and it's not something that I'm proud of saying, but from what I'm reading, it seems that's what's been really important. It's just like making a name for yourself and kind of like the way you dress, the way you carry yourself. I feel like that all really matters, especially now, because we all have to create ourselves. Like, there isn't a record company creating us. Yeah, I feel like aesthetic and the way you present yourself is very important. Just pretending. Just reach out to your, fellow creators and work on something cool with them. You don't have to do it alone. Like, sometimes you do it alone, and that's really fine, and that's something I've been trying to make myself feel better about, because I also do photography and do art, so I like do a lot. Like, I go to a location and I bring my camera and my tripod, and I'm like, okay, like, self-timer. And I also made my own album artwork, but it gets really tiring and you kind of get bored of yourself sometimes. But then you realize that you have these other creators that you could reach out to and these other artists, and they could do these things with you and create something magical with you. And it definitely helps you get more excited about your own stuff rather than just always doing something on your own. And that's something else I want to start doing, is collabing with other artists to create something and getting more input from other artists when I release music, because I can't strictly rely on everything that comes out of my mind. Because I think the best art is, people work on together. That's what makes it the most magical and worth listening to. That's something I only just started realizing because I've been like, no, I have to do it all myself, and if I don't, succeed doing it all myself, then like, what is my worth? But that's not true, because a lot of artists didn't really gain their, recognition until they started working with other artists and creating something that was completely out of their comfort zone. And that's something I need to do, is get out of my comfort zone. And we all should, or else you're not going to create anything new and exciting.